Welcome to the Consulting Success Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Zapersky. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into the world of elite consultants, where you'll learn the strategies, tactics, and mindset to grow a highly profitable and successful consulting business. Hey, it's Michael Zapersky, and today you are in for a treat. I have none other than my cousin and business partner, Sam, joining us. Sam, welcome.
Hey, how is everybody doing? Happy to be here.
Yeah, this is exciting because typically I am interviewing other consultants, business owners for part of the Consulting Success Podcast, and sometimes you'll find me on a solo cast. But it's not too often that Sam jumps on and joins in. And so I'm really excited to have him because while Sam plays at some points, a role that not everyone sees, he plays a very integral, very important part of the business, working with our clients, helping with our branding and our direction, and so much else that goes on. But I am just excited to have you on here, cousin, and for us to be diving into today's topic, which is sharing our guiding principles. So we've been giving a lot of thought to what is important to us and the direction that we want to take our business. And so part of that, Sam and I sat down and we've compiled and created the 10 guiding principles, really what drives us as people, as business owners, as a part of families, and just global citizens. Like really when we boil everything down to the essence of Sam and myself, 10 themes, 10 big ideas, 10 guiding principles emerged, and we both thought it would be fun and hopefully beneficial for you to hear what drives us and what's really important to us. So let's just get right into it. And the first principle is less is more. Sam, you want to maybe just kind of explain a little around what less is more means to us?
Yeah, I'll speak for myself, but I mean, less is more is really the way we look at what we do in life and what we do in our business. And really what we mean by that is that instead of focusing on everything and focusing on anything that's out there, is really focus on the few things that matter. Focus on the few things that are important. Focus on the few things that give us the most enjoyment or really give back the most. So a good example would be like clients, and even in our coaching program and the whole way our business is structured, we don't work with tons of different people. We work with a handful of people that we really enjoy working with and we know we can deliver results to, and they get us, we get them. That's one example. Another one would be around friends. We're social people. We have lots of friends, but really when I look personally at my circle of friends, I have 5 to 8 really close friends that I spend a lot of time with. And I mean, less is more is a philosophy in business. It's a philosophy in life, even in travel. When I travel, I go to fewer places. I like to spend time in less places because I want to get to know the people. I want to get to know the place. I want to have a real experience there. So that's really my take on less is more. And Mike, I don't know.
Yeah, those are really great points. And what I would also share is that what we're going to be taking you through and opening up in terms of our observations to you, like these are based on a lot of trial and error, a lot of learning experiences, or AKA what people call failures. Sam and I have been together for almost 18, 19 years now in terms of building businesses together. And we've launched multiple businesses. We've sold a couple of businesses. We've grown, like this is all as part of growing 7-figure businesses and so forth. And this, in terms of less is more, has really been important for us. We've experienced what it's like to have a lot going on, trying to manage complex businesses. At one point, we actually ran 3 different businesses at one time. And that wasn't very much fun, right? And we learned that actually the most powerful way to grow a business is not through addition, but it's really through subtraction, right? It's if you look at the most successful businesses of our times, they typically got started and also at their peak remain the most successful when they're very, very focused. So as Sam mentioned, right, we work with a small group of clients. Our approach as well to marketing and to business building is one where we're not trying to do tons and tons of different things. We really don't want to hone into what is going to work best, and then how can we get to the result that we want in the shortest period of time in the most straightforward path. So this for us, less is more, has certainly been a really important principle. Let's go to number 2, which is creativity. Mm-hmm. Why don't you get us started on this one as well, Sam?
Yeah, I would say creativity is a huge principle and a huge area of focus within our company. I mean, me personally, creativity is what fuels me. So my background is in branding, it's in design, it's in photography, it's in music, it's in strategy, it's in marketing. Whatever I want to do, I bring creativity to the table. And I think Michael and I both do when it comes to our company and the decisions we make. Creativity plays a huge role. I'll give you an example. The environments we work in, we really feel that designer environments, and it even goes back, less is more, uncluttered environments that feel creative, where you have the coffee machine brewing, you have good music playing, you feel focused, you feel inspired, you feel energetic. Creative environments, for me, really defines creativity as one component. I mean, listening to good music as you work, when obviously when you're not talking to a client, but when you're maybe doing emails or when I'm doing a design of a website or whatever it may be, I'm listening to good jazz, I'm listening to good hip hop instrumentals. Mike and I are always sharing music. We're feeling in a creative zone. When we travel, we get inspired by creativity. When we talk to clients, we get inspired by creative clients. So creativity in general really fuels the business, fuels the energy. And yeah, without creativity flowing, I don't feel that a business can thrive, and I don't feel an environment is as healthy as it can be. So creativity really supports business and supports life and flow.
Definitely. The other thing I would add to that is I think we've both seen that in business, creativity and allowing yourself to be creative and putting yourself in an environment that helps you to feel more creative is actually how you go from being in kind of the normal zone, right? Feeling like you're just kind of doing the day-to-day, trying to get through another day, to a place where you reach, some call, right, the state of flow or an extraordinary zone where you're very focused. Time seems to fly by. You're very productive and you enjoy the process. You enjoy the work that you're doing. And there's many different ways to achieve that. In some cases, I know both Sam and I enjoy going out into nature, or we enjoy, as Sam mentioned, having good coffees or being in a nicely designed environment or listening to music. But it can also be about just going for a walk down the street or going to the gym or ending up in a new country or a new city. These are all things that fuel creativity and also help us to find our best ideas or to look at challenges that we're facing in a different perspective that can help us to solve it compared to just kind of staying at our desk or in our usual normal zone. Mm-hmm. Our third guiding principle is excellence. And this is one that I believe every entrepreneur who's up to great things or has the ambition to achieve great things is focused on. In most cases, I believe it's a conscious decision. Maybe sometimes you're so busy doing what you're doing that it becomes a bit subconscious. It almost becomes like a habit. But I know that for Sam and I and in our businesses over the years, we've always wanted to get better. We've never felt like we've reached a place where we're satisfied. Yes, we want to be grateful and appreciate our accomplishments and what we've done. We want to look backwards and be grateful for that. Sometimes we're not as good as we've liked to be. We've gone through times where we've said, okay, we're at this level, let's get to this next level. We get to that next level, and now all of a sudden we're already talking about getting to that next level without even actually appreciating what we've accomplished and that we've made progress. But we've always been really committed to sharpening our swords and our craft and our skills. And one thing that I know, Sam, you've been very big into as well is investing into your own coaches or learning new skill sets. So maybe just talk a little bit more about what excellence means for you.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you just said, obviously we talk about this all the time, but really a commitment to always be improving. I personally find that excellence to me means it's part of the spice of life, because I look at myself and I look at Michael, I look at us as lifelong learners and always wanting to improve, always wanting to challenge ourselves, always knowing that there's room for us to get better. There's a saying I say to people, and it's not my saying, but I heard it many times in different books and different people I've spoken to. But if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And that always strikes a chord for me, because what that means to me is surrounding myself with excellent people, meaning good people, good quality people, people that are positive, people that are successful, people that want to move forward and really work on excellence together. So I like to surround myself with excellent people. Mike, my cousin, is one of them in my eyes. And I mean, we do business together and have fun together, and that's always motivating. But yeah, excellence is just a commitment to always moving forward. And I like how Mike started off there, where what we look at is that we're always grateful, but we're never satisfied. So very thankful and very grateful for everything we've built and our clients and the people we work with and our families and our friends and everything. But really, that hunger never gets satisfied. And that's the whole point of improving, continuous improvement.
That's a really interesting point. I've often looked at very successful people by the typical kind of societal standard of they've built a very big company, or they've led large teams, or they've made a lot of money. And in the early years, I would look at that and go, well, when they have so much money, why do they need to keep doing what they're doing? Like, why not just hit the beach and take time off? And as the years have gone on, I've just recognized more and more that it's not about the money. And, we'll talk more about that in another principle coming up here. But it's about excellence. It's about the hunger. It's about, like, real entrepreneurs, real business owners know that they're going to continue hitting challenges. But hitting a challenge is really just means that you're learning something new. And that's really what we're all after. It's about ongoing learning, ongoing improvement, because the moment that you stop trying to excel, which doesn't mean that you have to be number one in the world, but it's about having the desire to improve. Mm-hmm. And the more that we take steps to improve, the more satisfied that we feel, the more positive that we feel, the more energy that we have, and the more that we want to go out and do it again. So I think this is a shared trait among the most successful people, regardless of the industry or size of company. It's something that I've definitely observed in many entrepreneurs that I know who are, just like they feel. I shared this quote, I think, with you the other day, Sam, and a few others as well. I heard a podcast when I was at the gym by Ray Dalio, and he said that if you worry, you don't need to worry. If you don't worry, you need to worry. And that really spoke to me, because I know a lot of consultants spend time, we could call it worrying, but really it's just thinking about how to improve and looking at situations in different ways. That's really what this is all about. It's all about excellence. And the people who excel the most are those who are thinking about ongoing improvement and sharpening their craft.
And we don't want you to go out and be worrying. That's not excellent, but yeah, that is a good quote though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the worrying comes at, this is a conversation we've definitely had with a lot of clients, right? That all entrepreneurs, all people in business, because I know, Sam, as you and I have talked about, even in our own business, it's something that we continue, even running a 7-figure business, we come up against this all the time. We look at a situation, we're feeling like the highs of something, and then the next minute we're feeling that something didn't go the way that we wanted to, and we'll feel a bit of a low.
100%.
But what allows us to now continue to be more and more successful is that we just take that and we just say, okay, well, thank you for what we're feeling right now. We have to figure out a way to overcome it. So there's always an element of worry, but it's about learning how to harness that feeling of worry, recognizing that is just part of, that kind of makes a pattern of, like, I'm going to now learn something, improve based on where I was before, and continue going on. So that's what we mean by worry. Let's jump now to number 4, our 4th guiding principle, which is what we call being global citizens. And this is something that I really respect and appreciate when it comes to Sam, because while both Sam and I have spent times in our early years growing up in different countries and different cultures, I don't know many people that travel the world and work in different countries and cities around the world as Sam. In my mind, you're one of the leaders in this area. So why don't you get us started here, Sam, and just kind of talk a little bit about what being a global citizen means to you?
Yeah, I think you said it best at the beginning. Mike and I both had grown up in Israel from young children. Our dads are actually twins. And when we were in our younger years, we had both spent several years living in Israel. We learned the language and we came back to Canada. But ever since being children, I'll speak for myself, I really got into global cultures and interested in the world. And I knew from actually a very young age, I don't remember what age, but I did know from a young age that for me, one of my biggest passions and interests in life was other people, other cultures, travel, seeing different cities, getting that feeling of being in different places. And years ago, in my 20s, I made it a goal that no matter what I had to do and who I had to work with, at one point I would want to have a job or want to have a business that would enable me to be part of this world on a more regular basis and not just go backpacking or traveling at older ages, but really go to cultures and countries and experience them deeply. So in the last several years, through consulting and through business, I've definitely had the chance to go work, to go travel, to really test out co-working spaces, to rent apartments in new cities and base out of there. The whole thing for me is as long as the internet is fast, which is not a problem anymore in most places in the world, there's no issue doing business. Sometimes have to be willing to wake up super early or go to bed quite late to work with clients in different countries, but that's all part of it. And really the way I look at number 4, global citizens, is appreciating the world, getting inspired by the world, understanding people, working with clients from all over, and really getting that blend of business and travel just right. And we've brought that into our business. I know Michael loves it just as much, and I'm sure he'll speak on it right now, but every 6 months we do client events now with some of our top clients in different international locations. And we've blended our passion and love for travel and the world into our business. We've had events now in Mexico City, in Vancouver, our home base. We've had an event in Lisbon as well, and many more to come. So I really think blending business, travel, and just getting a buzz off this international, lovely and beautiful and interesting world that's out there, that's always been a driver for me and continues to be. So that's how I would talk about being a global citizen when it comes to my perspective on that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sam and I growing up, spending a lot of time together in our early years and continue to be very close, obviously, as we work in the business and just even personally, we're like brothers. So a lot of what you'll hear from each one of us is certainly reflected in the other. And so I share much of what Sam just mentioned right there. I remember growing up, like in my high school, I was surrounded by people who came from different countries, especially from Asia, being in Vancouver, a very heavy Asian population, being like the one white guy in this section of the high school. And some people, I remember, would look at that and go like, no, that seems a bit strange. I loved it. Like, I just love, and I know, Sam, you're the same. I remember you talked about your kind of group of friends growing up was like the United Nations, which kind of made me laugh when you said it.
If you look at a high school photo, that's definitely a high school photo of me at the basketball court or whatever, hanging out with my friends. Looks like the United, there's a representative from 80 different countries pretty much around. Crazy.
Yeah. And that's for us, like that's always been something we've been interested in, right? I think a good consultant is someone who really takes a true and genuine interest in people, in learning and asking questions. And for us, it's been culture, it's been countries, history, languages, food, drinks, just all of those things that are connected to different locations for both of us have been really important. And then the other thing for me, like Sam, like I remember in the early years, we decided that we wanted to be able to take our business online to work with clients anywhere. And we've been able to achieve that. In last year, I spent 5 months out of the country with my wife and my daughter, traveling, seeing different countries, enjoying a great life, but at the same time being able to work very closely with clients and see not only our business do well, but see our clients' business do extremely well, which is what's most important for us. And the other part of it that I know Sam and I really appreciate is that we have many clients who have wanted to do the same thing. They've wanted to work more international. They wanted to be able to spend more time with their family and their loved ones and still make a really great income, create a lot more freedom and flexibility in their schedules. And we consistently now see more and more of our clients being able to do that, where they're able to go off and travel to several countries with their spouse and their business is still doing well, or they're able to spend a lot more time at home with young ones, but they're making 2 or 3 times more than they were when they were running a corporate role, just kind of pulling their hair out. So for us, the whole global, the whole being able to work anywhere, anytime, and still enjoy a lot of freedom and flexibility has been just so valuable and so important for us. And that then takes us in right now to our 5th guiding principle, which is connection. And that really is directly connected, no pun intended, right, about to what we said before, which is helping others to achieve results. Like, that is a really big thing for us. And I know Sam and I enjoy the connection of being with other people, whether it's clients or someone that we just meet at a park or in a random situation. That's one thing actually I've noticed about you, Sam, that you have the ability to be almost anywhere. Like when we were in Rome, we are crossing this street. We are walking. We walked about 10 kilometers a day. And we are crossing a street, and there was this older gentleman who was only speaking, well, first he was speaking Italian, but I think you were able, through you speaking Spanish to him, got into like a little bit of a conversation. And you've done that almost everywhere that we've gone and traveled. So maybe talk to us a little bit about what connection means to you and why you enjoy connecting with people so much.
Connection for me is really just what you just said. It's making experiences meaningful and being close to people, being a social being. I think that's one of the parts I love about the work I do within our business. I work with clients very closely. I speak to them every week or every 2 weeks. I'm constantly checking in with clients. I love chatting with them. I'm talking to people about enrollment and talking to people about our coaching program and talking to people about the live events, and I help plan those out. And that's from a business point of view. I like to be mentally stimulated and really social with people. So whether it's talking with Michael about business and joking around and having fun, that's a connection. Or whether I'm talking to clients or other people in our business, that's a connection as well. And then on the personal side, really just digging deeper and just enjoying life, enjoying people around me. So connecting with people on a deeper level, whether it be traveling, whether it be my friends, whether it be my family, whether it be whoever it is, I think connection is, there's not too much to talk about on this point, rather than just how important it is to stay connected. We're in this connected world. We all know that social media can be isolating and can be not a true way of connecting with people. But really, I think, and I think for Michael on this point as well, that we value in person, whether it's phone call or meeting up for a meal or whatever it is, but real people, conversation. And it even goes back to our less is more principle 1, but just making meaningful connections and making good impact through those.
Yeah, I think one thing that's kind of we've both noticed in the last little while, Sam, is that we spend less time on social media channels and platforms
100%
to what we used to years ago.
Oh yeah.
I think we're just not interested in the, call it a showboating or just like what people put out there. Just a lot of it, it's like a fake connection. And I'm not saying for everyone. Some people genuinely love it and it means a lot to them, and that's terrific. But for us, it's like technology is great. And I know both Sam and I really are into technology, especially finding ways that it can improve our lives and our business and all that. But at the end of the day, technology is not a replacement for a real, true, meaningful relationship. And for us, like that's why we've started to move a little bit away from spending so much time on social. Not that we necessarily spent tons of time even before compared to some people, but just like less interest in that and more interest in going deep with those that we love, our families, our clients, has been, I guess, a trend or a shift that I've observed us having over the last little while. And the other part is, I know that for us, more than a lot of other things out there, Sam and I are simple in the way that we just really enjoy, like there isn't much that gives us, I think, as much pleasure as sitting down for a really good meal with great friends or loved ones, pouring some wine, having some nice food, and enjoying conversation. That, for me, and I think, Sam, for you too, is probably one of the most enjoyable things that I can even think of.
Mike's a better cook than me, though, so he I like when he invites me to his place for that kind of connection. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
He has the good wine and the good food skills, so yeah.
I've been seeing your cooking skills improve over the years too.
Not bad.
I have to give you some respect.
Not bad.
That side. Let's jump then to guiding principle number 6. Sam, you want to lead us off with this one?
Wealth and expansion, number 6. So really, wealth and expansion is, so a lot of these principles are going to overlap because they're the 10 guiding principles, but really with wealth and expansion, it's all about, this one connected me to excellence once again. We have a big interest in growing wealth, not just for growing wealth. Of course, it's nice to make money. It's nice to get more each month. It's nice to be able to invest. It's nice to be able to do nice things, but really not wealth for the sake of just generating wealth, but really to challenge yourself and to go back to that whole excellence. And then from there, one interest that I think I've really taken on in the last few years, and I think Michael too, is investing in different types of industries and different types of projects, and not even necessarily if they're the most profitable, just trying out things, what I like to refer to them as heart projects, and investing in things that who knows how they're going to turn out, but it's fun to try new projects, to try new things, to help others too. Kiva, that's something I've liked to do, investing in the microloans for entrepreneurs in developing countries, you get your money back, but you don't make interest. So you're really just putting your money somewhere where it's fairly safe, not 100%, but you're investing in an exciting project for an entrepreneur in a developing country. And then you can get that money back and lend it to someone else. It's a nice system. For me, that's really what wealth and expansion is all about. Making money, saving money, investing in new ideas. The word possibility comes to mind when I think about wealth and expansion.
Yeah, this is an area that, I mean, if I go back from about the age of 12 or 13 years old, my father taught me about investing and finances, and it's something that I've always done and been, very focused on. But what I've noticed, I think, as I kind of alluded to or mentioned earlier, as the years have gone on, I've been less directly interested or propelled by money, for the sake of money. It's really about what does that allow us to do and how does it allow us to grow or to help others or to impact others. And since my daughter was born, a few years ago now, legacy has been something that's been much more important for me. And just thinking about what that means, not necessarily just like leaving money for kids or my wife or family or things of that nature. But when I think about wealth, I think true wealth is freedom to do what you want, to spend your time how you want. I mean, like I remember for the reason I became a consultant way back in the day was just to do what I wanted to do, not to have a boss looking over my shoulder or someone holding my income potential back and kind of putting up a ceiling or dictating my schedule. Anyone that knows me knows that I spend a lot of time working, but I do it because I enjoy it. But I can also, in the same way that Sam, you can too, and it's something that we've been doing for years, but like we control our schedules. If we want to take a bit more time off to do something, we can. If we want to not work on a certain day, we can. If we want to, like I know for me, one big thing is, I remember before my daughter was born, just being able to take time off multiple times a week if I need to go with my wife to the doctor or to go get an x-ray or like whatever, without even having to think about it. That for me is a source of wealth, to have that freedom, to have that level of flexibility. And more, as Sam mentioned, as we've grown our wealth and grown our finances through successful businesses and sales and all that, it's also opened up possibilities for us to do things that we haven't necessarily done before, look at new kinds of investments, new ways that we can create projects that mean more to us. And that, I think, is really what wealth is all about. It's something that we both continue to study. We both continue to make investments. We both continue to think about what legacy is all about. And don't get me wrong, finances and money is, for me, something that still is important to me, but it's not nearly as important as it was in the early days, because I think that my priorities and just what I've thought about has shifted a little bit in terms of what really matters. And we're going to kind of just get to that here in the upcoming guiding principle. Let's first go to our seventh guiding principle, which is this idea of thinking long-term mindset. This is something that for both of us and in all of our businesses, actually, I would say in the early days, this is something that we probably didn't really appreciate. Sam, would you agree with that?
While we work with a lot of seasoned and experienced consultants here at Consulting Success, I'm often contacted by new early-stage consultants. Invariably, the question I'm asked is, what are the steps I should take to become a successful consultant and grow my consulting business to my first 6 figures per year? Well, I'm excited to announce that we've opened the doors for our Momentum program. This is our most popular program for early-stage consultants, and it has helped almost 1,000 consultants to start, run, and grow successful consulting businesses. It gives you the step-by-step plan to help you with your messaging, your fees, and pricing strategies, how to win more proposals, how to go to market more effectively, developing a marketing system to generate leads consistently, and so much more. And right now, until September the 19th, you can sign up for Momentum and get 50% off the regular price by going to consultingsuccess.com/audio. That's consultingsuccess.com/audio, AUDIO. Only 100 spots are available to join Momentum and get 50% off. This deal is only available until September the 19th or until all 100 spots are gone. We won't be opening up new spots in this program for several months, so don't wait. Go to consultingsuccess.com/audio. That's consultingsuccess.com/audio, AUDIO.
To some extent, I think I didn't know what was long-term So I wouldn't have labeled it long-term, and I think I would have been more rushed. But when you were just mentioning long-term, and when we were talking about these principles recently and talking about long-term, I think even from young ages, so when I was around 21, I started studying internet business and design. I'm 40 now. 19 years ago, I knew somehow that in the future, which is now, I wanted to do business and internet and international and online. I didn't know what it was, didn't know what it looked like. But even at that young age of 21, I was committing to the long term. I was literally committing for life to a life of online business and internet and marketing and branding and design. I didn't know what it would look like I said, 19 years ago, but I knew it was a long-term commitment, and I knew I would figure it out for a long time, but I knew I was committed. So that's what really comes to mind first. But yeah.
I think really what I was pointing at was that in the early days of our first 2 or 3 businesses that we built together, we jumped around a lot more.
Definitely.
We got confronted with shiny objects and new opportunities. In the early days, we found ourselves saying yes to a lot of things that we probably shouldn't have been saying yes to. Yeah. And as time has gone on, we've become much, much better at getting clear on what is our true goal and our destination, what is important to us. And then once we make a decision and a commitment, we create a plan around that. And then we work towards it. And we understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. We understand that even though we live in a society where instant gratification is something that is actually achievable in many different ways, from our phones to just television, like we can do so many things so quickly now, like hit a button and boom, something happens, right? Hit another button, something else happens. But in business building, many people think that you can just transfer that over and boom, make a business overnight. And that's why there's so much hype out in the marketplace where people make these really big promises and they say that you can do all these things. And Sam and I are against that. Just maybe speak to that for a minute, Sam. What are your thoughts on that whole long-term thinking versus the short-term thinking and what you see and feel in the marketplace right now?
From talking to so many people, so I do enrollment for our Clarity and Mastery coaching programs. And I talk to a lot of consultants, very successful consultants each week. And one thing I do notice is so many people compliment, and it does make me feel good, but we're being more and more open about this, that they say, look, I'm just so tired of seeing no experience needed, $1 million in 2 weeks, or you don't need a college degree, or whatever it is. It's just, there's a lot of hype out there. And I think that, like Michael was speaking on, is we haven't been attached to this hype. Even when we were younger, I don't think we ever really fell too much for the overnight hype and the overnight success and the magic bullet. And we've known for a long time that building an exceptional business, an exceptional lifestyle, good health, good relations, just a solid life, we know it's a long-term commitment, and we're willing to invest in mentors. We're willing to invest in coaching. We're willing to read books. We're willing to take time. We're willing to make mistakes. We know this is going to take a long term. And I think now that Mike clarified what he originally had asked me opening up this principle was, yes, I agree. In our earlier years, we did jump around a lot from business to business, and we had some good successes, but we would often leave them even before they realized their full potential. With consulting success, it's 9 or 10 years deep at this point. We're not planning to abandon it anytime soon. It's a long-term, lifelong vision of creating the platform and training for consultants. That's a long-term vision. That's a big, lofty goal, and we know we're going to do it, but we also know it's going to take a lot of time, and we're going to be spending that time and, having fun along the way, and that's what these principles are all about. But it's a long-term commitment to build a good business, a good life, a good body, a good relationship, a good family. We know this now. We know this.
Yeah. And I think I also have to give some credit where it's due, because one of the influences that kind of sparked this thinking in the early days was my wife. When I had a conversation with her, I remember we were in our apartment sitting kind of overlooking the city, and it was the evening. We were having some wine and we were talking about what was going on. She was working at that time at a company downtown. I was talking about some of I think at that point, we were either running 2 or 3 businesses at one point at that time, Sam, or at that time. And I was explaining what we're thinking about doing and new ideas. And she's like, well, why do you jump around so much? Why do you need to do all these different things? Can't you just commit to this and really put more energy into it? And that was a bit of a wake-up call. And I know we've talked a lot since then about this topic and we've really benefited from it. But it's amazing to me how so many people, and I guess it's just the influence of the hype and the society that we're in, who think that they can achieve like their ultimate goal in a really short period of time. And I don't want to say to people, listen, you can't see great results in a short period of time in any aspect of your life or your business. You can in certain cases, for sure. Right? That's why it's really important to find someone or something that can help you to get there so you don't have to do it all yourself. But at the end of the day, when we open ourselves up to a longer term mindset, we're more open to realizing our true potential, because if you have a short term mindset, the moment that you hit a snag, right, that you run into a wall, that you encounter a challenge, you're going to feel like, wow, this isn't working. I better change and look for that next, successful path or that next tool or technology or service, because what I'm doing isn't working right now. But what really creates the greatest level of results is the long-term mindset, because then when you run into a challenge, yes, you ask questions. Yes, you do a bit of analysis to identify what's working and what isn't working so that you can make an adjustment. But you know that you're not going to be jumping ship. You've burned the boats. You know where you need to go. And so now the long-term mindset allows you to realize your true potential, because you're not going to give up prematurely. You're not going to allow yourself to quit. And yes, you might still feel a real sense of self-esteem that is lacking or has been knocked down. But with a long-term mindset, you know that's all part of it. And you just get up and you go back at it the next day. So for us, I think that's been really, really important to see things and to view everything that we do, whether it's our business or relationships or how we handle investments. Sam, anything else to add to that?
Yeah, just one final point here before we jump into point 8 there is when you were speaking right now, it just reminded me of a important story of the early years of this current business. Let's take this back 7 years ago. I remember I was having some tough times personally readjust. I had just moved back from working on a business in Japan and really having an insane experience over there and really fun and amazing. And I came back to Canada. I was struggling a bit as we were building this business. And I remember at one point I was really wondering what to do and really wondering what to do with my life. And I didn't even know if I wanted to continue on this consulting business at that time. And I remember, Mike, and I'm sure you do too, we had that chat on the bench after a workout or a pool session. I know we were exercising at your house, and I remember I told Mike what was going on and how I was feeling and didn't know what to do. And he said, I still remember he said, at the end of the day, you need to be really happy in all the choices you make. So what you do is up to you and you have to think about it. But I'm committed to this business for the long term, and I know it's going to work in the future and sooner than later. And I'm committed and I want to do this with you. But at the end of the day, you have to be happy. And I still remember he said that, and I said, okay, I'm going to go off and think about it. My ultimate decision should be obvious because I'm still here today working on the business 7 years later, and it's completely different than it was back then. And boy, am I glad that I kind of had that chat with Mike. And I still remember he said, I'm in it for the long term. You need to be happy, but it's up to you. And I said, I went off for a week or 5 days. I thought about it. I talked to some people. I just said, you know what? I've come this far. Mike said he's down. That gave me some kind of confidence as well, I have to say. And he said, you know what? I'm for sure going to do this. And I was thinking in my head, if I give up and he for sure does this, I will be upset later. So I'm not giving up either. We're in it for the long term. And I remember we came back and we never looked back ever since that day, like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah. And that takes us just beautifully into our guiding principle number 8, which is experiences and memories. What you just mentioned right there, Sam, like living life in a way where you have no regrets, I think is one of the best ways that you can actually live life from my experience. We now make decisions in our personal lives. And I know because we talked a lot about different decisions and different situations, but also in our business. We want to, like everything that we do is based on the experience and the memory that it will create. I mean, for me personally, this is something that over the last probably 2-3 years, I've been thinking about more and more. My stepfather passed away from Alzheimer's just a little bit over a year from now. Before that, he really started suffering and seeing the effects of Alzheimer's and dementia take over his life. That was probably about 4 years or so ago, a little over 4 years. And that was definitely a big factor for me, as well as our family friends or friends of parents and so forth who lost their lives and who passed away. And just kind of really realizing how fragile life can be and how you never know. You have to enjoy what you're doing, because who knows? This could be the last day. This could be the last month. No one can really foretell and foresee the future. There's people who are extremely healthy and something comes up. There's people who do the craziest things you could imagine in life that you would think that something's going to happen to them, and it never does. Like, no one can really know what's going to happen. And if you live your life in a way where you're following what other people tell you, or you're doing it just because of other people, and you're not enjoying the process, you're not enjoying the journey, then you're only going to end up later on with regrets. And I don't know who said this, but it's something that I've heard multiple times, which is that when you find someone, kind of on their deathbed with their final breaths, and if you ask them, about their lives, they will tell you that there's never regret around, I should have worked more, I should have made more money, or I should have accumulated more assets. The things that they regret are always, I should have spent more time with my children, or with a spouse, or with loved ones, or I should have not given way to this fear that I had about doing something that I always wanted to do. And for me, that's kind of a really big guiding principle, because I don't want to have regrets. I want to live life to the fullest in a way that's balanced and thoughtful and meaningful. And I try and bring as much as I can of that into our business and into our company. Thoughts from you, Sam, on that one, or anything else to add? And then we'll move on to guiding principle number 9.
Not really too much. I mean, you said it the same way I probably would have. I agree. I think the lives we've been creating and the business we've been creating and the kind of people we spend our time with and the decisions we make is really based on daily experiences and memories and having no regrets. So I don't really have too much to add to that one. I think it's very clear.
Okay. You're the joker. You like to
I'm the joker. Okay.
To get good laughs out of the situation. And that takes us into the guiding principle number 9, which is enjoyment and fun. And I know that when we're together, we're always having fun. But why don't you kind of talk us through why we wanted to include this as a guiding principle?
Yeah, as we were brainstorming this and talking about this, we realized, and I mean, I think we've already realized that a lot of what we do is based on enjoyment and fun. So this business we've created it's very serious work, and we work hard. Don't get that part wrong or twisted, but it's very fun. And there's parts that aren't fun about it. But in general, Mike and I are building these businesses. We're working with our clients. We're joking around. We're checking out music. I mean, this crosses back over to creativity. And I think fun and enjoyment is part of creativity and living life, but really fun, joking, having fun, not taking everything too seriously. We're creating this lifestyle and this business and working with clients for a reason, to improve revenues, to improve systems, to really get ahead. But why take it so serious? This is something that's coming more and more to light, and this is even one of the reasons we're doing this podcast today, because we want people to know who we are, feel they know us better. We want you to understand that, yeah, we're building a high-level consulting business here and coaching business and working with very serious people. But at the same time, life is too short not to have fun. And Mike and I are always calling each other funny names. I mean, yeah, he just called me a joker. And we make all these, sending each other little emoticons like, what are you doing, buddy? And just, we're always enjoying life around when we're building the business together, when we're hanging out personally, or just when we're with friends, when we're with family. Life is too short to not have fun and enjoy what you do. We're not waiting till Friday to have fun. We're having fun daily, whether that's while we're working or after work or whatever. It's just enjoy.
Yeah, we're actually known. Well, we're not known because probably not too many people see us do this, but Sam and I have had multiple occasions where typically when we're traveling, we're in some different country or city, and we will somehow we'll come up with a name for one or the other. We'll talk about some situation and we'll start laughing so hard that we actually end up crying. And this happens pretty consistently. So you can kind of get a sense of how we enjoy each other's company. But definitely a big thing that I think that Sam mentioned there is that we go back and forth. We switch a lot between being serious and joking, or being lighthearted and having fun. And I think that's something that a lot of our clients appreciate, and things that a lot of our clients appreciate. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all in business to help others and to make an impact. But when you land a client because that client likes you, right? There's a relationship. There's very few situations where somebody will choose to hire you and they don't like you. Like that just doesn't happen very often. And so if you think about how does someone like you, well, it's that they get to know you. It's that they feel comfortable around you. It's that they feel that you're not so serious and that they can have an open conversation, that they can really trust you.
That they can have fun with you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you can joke around with someone, that is probably a fast way to have both parties let down their guard and just feel more comfortable. I mean, that's why both Sam and I have spent years in Japan. And there's a term in Japanese called nominication. And nomu is the verb to drink, and then keishin is just from communication. So the idea behind this term is that one way that a lot of Japanese business people feel comfortable with each other and build relationships after a hardcore meeting is that they'll go and they'll have drinks together and they'll let down their guard. They get silly. Like I remember being just blown away in my early years in Japan where I would go and I'd see people who I had spent sometimes weeks or months with always seem so serious in an office. But then I'd go drinking with them and they would be like falling on the floor almost. They'd have to almost be carried out of there. And that would not happen very typically in North America because you'd look at that person the next day and say, well, that person can't handle their alcohol or like something must be wrong with them. But there, it's just a way of relaxing, of enjoying the moment. The next day they'd come right back. They'd be all serious at work. But there's, I think, something behind finding ways to connect with people, and whether it's over a drink or it's telling a joke or it's finding something that you both mutually appreciate, that is been really important in our experience and certainly a big factor of how we run our business on the day-to-day. So here we go. We're now at the final guiding principle that really drives everything that we've done and the businesses that we've built and how we live our lives and how we interact with our clients and the programs that we run. And number 10 is health. So I know for both Sam and I, health has been a really important part of what we do because, you know, in our notes here, like we put down when we created this 10 guiding principles document, we said fit body equals fit mind. And I know for myself, every time I go to the gym, I go to gym Monday to Friday, every single morning, set time, set location. Sometimes I'll throw in a couple of runs in addition to that outdoors, depending on the weather and so forth. But my mind gets clearer every time I'm exercising. And I can't imagine a life without exercise. In fact, when I don't exercise for a few days, not only my body, but my mind really starts to feel more foggy and I don't feel as positive or as energized. And so for me, it's almost like part of the blood that my body needs. Sam, talk about your approach and your thoughts around health, because I know that you're active in martial arts. You are always, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, and you travel a lot and you work from different places, but you're always making sure that you stay active. So just maybe share some thoughts around what role health plays in your mind and how you kind of think about it.
Yeah, for sure. I think about health as body, mind, diet. I guess those three come to my mind first. And I don't even necessarily think that, for me personally, I always have an extra 10 pounds on me, which I find kind of funny. Of course, I enjoy my food, I enjoy my drinks, but that doesn't mean that health is not a big priority for me. As Mike said, for the last 4 years, I've been doing martial art training in Muay Thai and boxing. I'm not at a competitive or sparring level, but really more for self-defense and fitness. And I do that definitely 4 or 5 times a week. Also, as Mike said, I couldn't imagine not doing it. Every time I do it, my mind is clear. I sweat. I meet with friends. I'm hanging out. I'm having fun. Back to Principle 9. I'm just really enjoying and I'm clarifying. Even amazing business ideas hit me after I finish a gym session or I'm in the shower, whatever it may be. But really for me, at the core of my daily existence, I would say, I even try and do a meditation or a breathing exercise every morning for 5 to 10 minutes. It's a guided meditation on an app that I could recommend called Headspace. There's a free version. And I got into that a few years ago, and really fit body, fit mind. I make a smoothie as much as possible. Sure, I'm not saying I don't eat French fries and I don't have burgers. And I think Mike's more strict and good around that than me. That's probably why I'm carrying these extra 10 pounds. But I definitely like enjoying good food and good wines here and there. But I'm also on a daily having smoothies. I'm going to the gym, meditating. I'm just, without health, I don't feel the same. I don't feel as positive. I feel foggy, like Mike also said. It's just fitness for me, mind and body is a part of life. And as soon as it's out of sync, like I know we went to Rome recently after a client event that we had held. And when we were in Rome, I didn't really exercise that much during the week. I enjoyed lots of pasta, lots of pizza, lots of great red wine.
Sure did,
yeah, at the end of the week, not only did I put on a couple extra pounds of love, but I kind of felt a little bit out of it in the sense of I was happy, great travel experience, but I was like, you know what? I wish or not that I had a regret, but it's like I need to get back to the gym ASAP. So as soon as I got to the next destination or back to Vancouver, it was okay, boxing class, Muay Thai class, running, back to smoothies. So health it's a pillar in success, I would say, and a pillar in my life, and couldn't live without health.
Yeah, I think the one thing that got us through that, Sam, was that we were walking so much.
That's a good point.
All around Rome. If we had not done that, or if we had just been driving or taking taxis everywhere, we probably would have been feeling...
We did, yeah, at least 5 miles for the U.S. people out there, but 5 miles, 6 miles a day, or 10, 12 kilometers, 15 kilometers a day of walking over there.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
There's not much more I can add, I think, to this 10th guiding principle.
Well, there actually is one. I'm just looking at our notes here about the quarterly recharges.
Yeah, so I guess we can introduce that a little bit here. So one thing that we've noticed is that it doesn't matter where we are in the world, it doesn't really matter the situation, we're always working, we're always on. And Sam and I have thought about what can we do as we're building a team, and how can we still serve our clients, make an impact, grow the business, but also make sure that we have real time for ourselves to kind of release from work, from email, from things of that nature. And so one thing that we've just decided to do fairly recently here, and we'll keep you posted on how this works, but I'm certainly excited about this idea, is the quarterly recharge. And so what we're going to be doing, and it's funny because to some it might sound like, well, that's not really a big deal at all, but for us, it's a big one. And that is that every quarter we're going to just take a week off. And a week off means no email, no communications, no work. During that time, might spend some time like writing a book or things of that nature, but it's really meant to be a time to, for example, travel with family or spend a bit of time on self. It's about time to let the mind, let the body recuperate, re-energize, so that we can come back to the business, come back to work, come back to our clients, and play at a higher level. And I know that's something that a lot of people understand conceptually, and it's probably no big surprise. But I know for myself, I haven't played that game. I've understood it. I've understood the rules, but I haven't been a very good participant because I've just been so busy working on stuff. It doesn't mean that I don't take time off. Again, both Sam and I travel a lot and spend a lot of time in different locations, but completely removing ourselves from emails or from work during that time has been something that has really lacked. So this idea that we're now implementing into our business is the quarterly recharge, which is a way to step back, but at the same time, take a bigger step forward. I've often seen in our own business when it comes to marketing or other areas, when we're looking to grow, oftentimes it's not just about pushing more. It's about actually taking one step back or put it another way, slowing down a little bit so that we can then go faster. Because I find people who just try and go fast all the time often are the ones that make mistakes and have greater regrets later on, where in our case, what we've tried to do is we've tried to slow things down at certain points so we can get a lot better clarity around what we need to do to be able to go faster. And so this is one way to allow ourselves to be able to make greater improvements, see greater growth, bring even more and more energy to our clients and to our work, is by making sure that we're taking time for ourselves and through that our families and loved ones and so forth. But that's really what quarterly recharges is all about.
Yeah. And I would just add to that, and it doesn't necessarily, for us, we're trying it every 3 months where we take 5 business days off. And I don't know, I might still have to check some emails, but really what it's all about, and I know, Mike, that's going to be a tough one for you too, but
definitely,
really what it's all about is what Mike said, is it's getting inspired, it's getting rested, it's doing the things you really love and things where your mind is being used in different ways. And when you get inspired like that, and I've heard many people, Robin Sharma, a well-respected author and speaker, has spoken about this many times, that the top performing people in the world, the top billionaires, the top athletes, the top politicians, they take these, not necessarily quarterly, but they take recharges, whether it be once a month, they'll take a week off, or every half year they'll take 3 weeks off and just do something completely unrelated to the business, something that really inspires them, that recharges them. A mentor of ours was recently calling it Renaissance time, where you spend time in Renaissance, spend time in areas you love. And then when you come back to your business and come back to what you do daily, you're all that much more charged. You're supercharged. You're ready to hit the ground running. You're refreshed. You're creative. You're all juiced up. You're jazzed up, and your ideas are fresh and you're ready to explode. So Mike and I want to implement this, and we're looking forward to the next one. I think it's still a far way away in September, but it's definitely something that we've been talking about, and we're excited to implement these quarterly recharge sessions. And we'll be talking more about that with our clients and our community, because this is not just for us. We recommend that you try and implement something like this if it resonates with you and you think that it doesn't have to be quarterly. It could be once a year. It could be once every 6 months, up to you. But something that takes your mind away from your business and the daily of your business, gets you inspired, recharged, and when you come back, you're more powerful.
There you have it, everyone. These are our 10 guiding principles, and hope that you've enjoyed hearing Sam and I kind of share our take on these, and really what drives us as individuals, as family people, as business owners. These are what we use. These are what keep us in check. And we've really just kind of opened up our books here. Like, we've opened up our hearts a little bit just to share with you what we really think. There is no right or wrong, but this is how we observe and how we make decisions and what gets us to act and what's most meaningful for us. So I hope that you found some value in this. As always, would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, if you've enjoyed this, please do reach out. We always appreciate hearing from you. And with that,
I would like to, Mike, before you just sign off here, I really agree with Mike. I would love to also hear what you felt about this, but also, what are your guiding principles? If you have, tell us what yours are. And if not, maybe spend some time writing out what your 5 guiding principles, whatever it is. We'd love to hear what you thought, and really love to hear what yours are, because this is really an effort to get to know the community better and better, and open up and share what you have of your own guiding principles with us. If you can, that would be beautiful.
That's why Sam and I work together, right? Because I was just about to end this and he jumped in and said, hey, hold on, Mike, there's something else here. And what he just shared with you is gold. So yeah, take action on that. Love to hear what yours are. And if you don't yet have them, a really great suggestion by Sam to work on these. It was a lot of fun for us and really helpful to go through this exercise. Definitely. A mentor of ours suggested, and I'm certainly glad that we did. And I'm certainly glad that Sam and I were able to take some time here to share these with you. So with that, wish you guys all a wonderful rest of the day, and regardless of where you're tuning in from, and whether it's evening or middle of the night, or whatever time it is right now for you all, hope that you are well and make it a great one.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Consulting Success Podcast. For more episodes and to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, head on over to iTunes. And if you'd like to develop consistent lead flow and a highly profitable consulting business, learn more about our coaching programs at consultingsuccess.com.